Hello, my name is Paul Bumpus, and this is my social competence reflection video for EDU 330 Social Justice for Educators class. To be considered a culturally competent educator, an individual will need to understand what culture is and how their awareness of this is shown throughout the classroom. Culture is defined as a social group's rules, beliefs, or customs. As a socially competent educator, they will need to allow each learner to celebrate cultures in their classroom, not only their own, but others as well, to instill compassion and dignity in the room. By conducting the classroom with cultural responsibility, trying to teach across cultural barriers, and by creating an inclusive and welcoming classroom culture, the educator is able to show their competence of culture and the impact it has on students. When I rated myself on the cultural competence continuum chart, I found that my rating was that of someone with cultural pre-competence. I recognize cultural issues, believe wholeheartedly in the necessity of diversity, and try to understand the needs of individuals or groups whose cultures differ from my own. I also understand that there is much I don't know, which will lead me to respond inappropriately to some issues. I recognize my lack of understanding and the need to better learn and explore diverse cultures so I may better well be equipped to handle situations that may arise in the classroom. Individuals who fall under this classification of cultural pre-competence usually come from environments or backgrounds with limited exposure to cultures outside of their own. Ways that their competence may be elevated would be to involve themselves in social or economic justice issues or groups, advocating more for cultural diversity in the schools, or taking specific actions to help undeserved communities, such as clothing drives or low income families and food donations. It would also be important to include units on cultural diverse topics throughout the school year. There are many books one can read about the various cultures that will further their understanding. Suggestions about these can be found online through contact with a local librarian or from individuals within that group you're trying to learn about. Communities and sometimes school districts will also hold conferences or lectures about cultural awareness. Information about these can be obtained from state and local agencies. Lastly, the internet has a vast catalog of topical information. TED Talks are a great tool to find out a brief summary of individual topics from reputable sources. All these will help an educator to build a safe and supportive classroom environment for individuals of all cultures and diversities. What cultural inclusivity looks like in the classroom is that regardless of gender, race, or creed, everyone will be treated equally and have equal support given by the instructor. Rules and precedents will be put into place to foster an environment of respect and tolerance. To ensure that the individuals in my class are given equal amount of respect, especially if their beliefs and worldviews do not align with my own, I will make sure to devoid myself of all biases and while operating in my role as an educator. Respect is a two-way street, and I'll always remember that it is, if I want the honor of having their respect, I will need to earn it by showing the respect back to them. No one should be made to feel excluded or different because of their cultural origins or life choices. My classroom needs to maintain a welcoming feel and a supportive environment if I am to display any level of cultural competency to the learners I serve. I hope this video was helpful in understanding where I stand with cultural competence and how I plan to integrate it into my classroom. Thank you.